Check, check, check. Check two, check two. There we are. Oh, and need to mute ourselves. Can't tell what I'm actually trying to say when I hear myself. All right, let's get this set up here. Cool. Okay, so today's plan, talk about elevating our Jekyll site with Cloudflare Pages and dynamic functions. So we've currently, are up to today, been building a, change that, statically generated site. Let me share the screen. There we go. Been building a site built with Jekyll, statically generated site that is deployed with Cloudflare Pages, which is a hosting option that is actually free when you only have a small site, and this is a very small site at the moment, and also using it as a learning opportunity for some of these new to me technologies. So I've used GitHub Pages and S3 buckets for statically generated sites before, but this is the first time using a Cloudflare page. And now we're going to look at adding some dynamic content with Cloudflare's functions. We have, after yesterday, some of the things that I did were just update some, you can't actually see that because it's behind me. Let's see, I think yeah. That is also the wrong one. Wow, I'm really good at this. There is a, let's see if why are you being so ridiculous, mouse? There is a bit of footer work I did. I added some images to each of the pages, which an interesting thing with that is because of the way Jekyll templating works, I added that into our layout, the layout being a page. So if a page has a hero image, it adds it. And so that is part of the front matter of a given page. So if I look at, say, the about, in our front matter, we have a hero image. So if page.heroImage, then we add the hero image. I did something somewhat similar on the posts. So posts being blog posts. If we go to look at an actual blog post, I added a post image. So on the post, we have, if there's a post image, we display that post image. If there's not, we display a default one. So that there is, so if we go to a blog and the blog page, it displays an image there. So if I remove, this is in the 26th one. So we save that, and this is the 7th. So we come over to the 6th. So there's just a default image. Just testing out some different elements of Jekyll, as well as adding something a little more visually appealing than just plain static text. Another interesting thing is that the Discord link for joining the Discord server is kind of an ugly link, so I added /discord, so devopsdave.net/discord, and it does a redirect. Because this is a static site, you can't do a server-based redirect. We've done a redirect with just the window location. And then I added a fallback in case something went wrong, or if, say, the user doesn't allow scripts, if they're ultra paranoid. So there's that. And now let's look at adding a function. Yeah, also I added in jQuery, which I know is extremely old school, but it's because I added just a small contact form that calls a previously existing, I think it's a lambda. I think I have a lambda that I call, but I'm not going to show that right now. It just sends me a text through AWS's SES, but we might make that change with our function. But let's see what happens. Okay, let's go over to there. Okay, so functions. All right, so within Cloudflare, this over a little more. All right, within Cloudflare, under the main window, workers and pages, overview, then I go into the specific page, and then, or deployment, then I look at the details. From there is the functions. So here it says include a functions directory. Okay, yeah, so we'll need to include a functions directory. Now, we're learning together on this one, so hopefully it goes well. But let's see, so /functions. So let's look at the getting started. Functions directory automatically generates a worker with constant functionality at pre-designated routes. Copy and paste the following code into hello world.js. Sure, why not? Howdy world. This function will run on /hello world and returns hello world. The reason this function is available on this route is because the file is named hello world. Similarly, okay, so whatever it's called is, okay, let's try new file, hello world.js. Hello world. Now let's also try bar.js. And so I just want to see if the rooting within the folder structure works. This is foo bar. Okay, so that's 2 of those. Let's just read a little bit more. Deploy your function. Okay, just deploy. Okay, so this is not much dynamic content, but let's do it, test it, and then we can add something to the front end to see if we can call it from there, which obviously if it's available we should be able to. Testing Cloudflare function. And we push. And so let's come back over and look at our, let's see, build settings. I think let's go back here. Did it push? Huh. Push. There we go. And so there is our build. Building. Okay, upload complete. I should have actually added some sort of visual indicator on the static site, just some sort of touch point so that I know that the application actually deployed, because I can't be sure that it actually deployed or has resolved through all the caching. Let's duplicate this tab. /hello world. Okay, well, there we go. It worked. Now let's try foobar. Foobar works. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Both the paths and the default location work. So excellent. Let's see, is there anything else? Don't need that. Let's just see if there's anything else useful within the documentation. Oh, if I'd gone through some more of the documentation, we would have seen that, which is good. Examples. So what is this here? Set up an A/B test by controlling what pages serve based on cookies. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Cool. Middleware. Local development. This is Wrangler page dev. Installing Wrangler. Run your pages project locally. Run the following command to start local development. Wrangler. I don't know much about Wrangler at the moment, so I'm not just going to go and dive into that. That seems like that might be a diversion. But what we can do, and especially since I have added in jQuery, which again, I know it's not the standard these days, but I just needed something super simple. I may change over to using something such as React or Vue in the future, but at the moment it's unnecessary. I just need some minor dynamic content. Let's add a new page. Yeah. Let's call it sandbox. Sandbox.md. Add our front matter. Layout. Page. Title sandbox, that's fine. Permalink sandbox. Okay. Let's see. Let's give it a div. The actual sandbox. Loading. Script. Okay, there is a quirky element to using JavaScript, or at least for using jQuery, because I want to call the, well, actually, why don't I just use fetch? Let's just use fetch. Let's see, but I need it on, load, so I think what we want is the anonymous function. Let's see, I forget how did you do that. I don't. Page load function. I forget the exact format. Window on load, but I don't think that's what I was looking for. Just want self-executing anonymous function. Self. Yeah, that's okay. That's what I was thinking. Oh, that's the wrong. Yeah, just that. Okay. So I was almost there. Function and the function. So that, and then that's the execution of it, right? Okay, so now let's come over to test. Unexpected. What'd I miss? What did I miss? Oh, because we need that. Is that right? That doesn't seem right. That's the wrong one. Yeah, hang on. I can try it with function, I suppose. Function. Yeah. but also I need to update the inner HTML. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so document. There we go. Thanks, Copilot. Okay. And we don't need that because page already includes that. This is the sandbox. And let's just stick that in a P. And stick it in a give it a little spacing so I can see what's happening. Okay, so now let's execute or actually I think fetch is going to be a dot then, right? I do so little front-end engineering, I have to look stuff up constantly. When I actually do it, fetch. Yeah, fetch then. Fetch then catch, or fetch catch. But it's just fetch then. Should be fine. Fetch. Hello world. Text, and then nice. Thanks for making that easy, Copilot. Okay, so now if we refresh this, this should turn into Hello World. No, okay. Cores, that's fine. So we'll just call /hello world. Let's do a sandbox and sandbox 2. Let's just be consistent. Sandbox 1. And let's do a second one of these. For foo /bar and unloading, to loading. The other thing is, let's just add some style here. Just this is gonna just have a style. Oh, nice. You gonna give me sandbox 2? Haha, nice. Okay, cool. Good enough. That is expected because of the cores. So, well, and also because it's slash doesn't exist, so it's a 404, and both of those result in a 404. Did I actually do the? This should be sandbox 2. Foo bar goes to sandbox 2. Hello world goes to sandbox 1. Okay, cool. Now, let's send that up and see what happens. Sandbox. Push that. Check our deployment. Back to the okay. Oh, sorry. The chat missed your message there, Malexon. Just a static website built with Jekyll that is hosted on Cloudflare's Pages. So it's my website, but it's learning these concepts of the functions, and I think we've got time to look into the key values for data storage. That's the next step. I wonder why my chat did not show your message and it was hidden. That's irritating. Oh well. Let's see here. Let's come back to here and let's go to Sandbox. Hello world, this is Foobar. Awesome. So that worked for me. Happy with that. Yeah, let's look at the key values now. So a binding enables your page function to enter. Let's make it bigger. Can I make that? I hate websites when the sidebar can't collapse. Anyway, a binding enables your page function to interact with the resource in the Cloudflare developer platform. Use bindings to integrate your page functions with Cloudflare resources like key value, durable objects, R2. Let's see what the difference in these are. R2 and D1. So key value data store. So that'd be something like Redis or Brain. Do the Brain thing. The Amazon thing. If the Dynamo. Good grief. Although Dynamo's slightly different than those. Let's see. Durable objects, distributed coordination API with strongly consistent storage, only available on paid plans. Durable objects provide a powerful API for coordinating multiple client or users, each with private, transactional, and strongly consistent storage attached. In-memory storage API, WebSockets. Okay. D1 is SQL's native serverless database. R2 is for large amounts of unstructured data. All right. I don't think for any of the things that this website's going to do would I ever want anything other than key value. Like for a simple example, we'll build just a small counter, like old school days. Okay. Cool. So let's see how we create this. So we come over to our page, go into it. I think I did see this earlier. View the details. It was here before. Okay. Key value. The up arrow, down arrow thing looks funny. I was expecting kind of a, I don't know what I was expecting, but the down triangle confused me. All right, so we're gonna create a namespace. Just call it Sandbox for now. Okay. Come back to local development and see about doing Wrangler later, maybe. Key value bindings, worker, and a namespace. And the Wrangler TOML file. So do I actually need to use it? Let's see, get started. Get started. Create a namespace. Writing, reading. Okay, install npm, install node, have those. Now let's just see what version we're on though. Okay. We have a worker. Maybe able to skip the Wrangler stuff since we already have a worker. We already just created the workspace. So if we view, so that's the namespace ID. I'll delete this namespace after the stream anyway, just in case I expose anything I shouldn't. That's the wrong thing. Namespace. Binding names do not need to correspond to the namespace you created. Binding names are only a reference. Okay. Select worker and pages. Select create a namespace. Enter namespace add. Interacting with your KV namespace. Here we go. You can interact with your KV namespace via Wrangler or directly from your worker. Interacting from Wrangler. So this would be how you would actually access it locally. I might have to get that set up off stream to make sure I don't expose something I shouldn't, because I can't imagine that just your namespace ID is all you need, because you need to have that within your code, and your code could be public. Well, obviously the code has to be public because it gets delivered as a website. So for no, that's not. Yes. No. Very clear on what I'm thinking there. So I guess if the repository was not marked as public, which this one currently is, I can move it over to private though. And you do actually include your workspace. Should be able to actually use environment variables though. I should be able to do that. So if we come back to our build settings, environment variables. So I could put the environment variables in here. Foo. This is my foovar. So if that is an environment variable, let's see, we want to use an environment variable from, is that an environment variable? But that's an environment variable for the build, right? Functions. Okay, so edit key value namespace binding to sandbox. Sandbox, so that's how that would work. So maybe that is a thing that the ID is the only. Did it say anything about that ID being there's no other, so just that namespace? That seems crazy to me that that's the only information you need to be able to write to it. Anyway, let's try. What did I actually call that over here? Just sandbox. Let's edit it. Delete, add variable. KV sandbox. So then in our hello world, you can access the binding from within your worker. In your worker, add your KV namespace in the env interface. Is the interface inside of the function export or outside? Outside, okay. Oh, because that's a TypeScript. I don't like TypeScript. I mean, it's okay, but is there just a vanilla JavaScript version? Ugh. Oh, wait, okay, so env export default. I just love when they use different versions of a language between different documentation so that you can't tell what the actual requirements are. What do you have here? Use workers directly from Rust. All right. Source index. I just want to access the binding from the worker. Access, like that's the interact with your namespace file worker. That value. Okay, env dot your namespace. That's taking us over there. Use try catch, yeah. Let's see if old Copilot has some some pointers. Get env variable, not env bind rule. Yes, from binding. No, that's not right. That's not right at all. Reference KV from worker. Wrangler toggle. Export function on request. Why would they show plain JavaScript in one area and then TypeScript in another, and I'm not seeing any documentation on the actual definition of the functions and methods. So that's from how are they doing it in Rust? Wrangler again. I'm just not sure how we access the key value namespace binding directly from the worker using just plain JavaScript as opposed to TypeScript. But even using TypeScript, I'm not sure I understand what is being described here. There. So through Wrangler, I don't want to do it through Wrangler. Bind it via the dashboard. I've done that. So then accessing the binding to connect a key value, you must define the binding. We've done that. Name your binding does not need to match. Okay. Key value name, signed ID. To execute your worker, define the binding. The binding is called to do. That's in the Wrangler. Have it to within this, the deployed worker will have it to do global variable. Oh. So maybe it is just env.our. Let's see, this isn't written for async await. We could update that and see about that's an export function async. No, that's not right. I always get it confused. Async function. So env dot it? What? No, so env is coming in from fetch, but that's not in the request. Oh, okay, so so that is trying to tell me that context.env. So then we could do a yeah. No, I don't like that. Let's do let the value, let's call it counter equals probably is counter, no, we want 0, and that's a constant. Okay, so we get env from context, just to make things a little cleaner. The counter defaulting to 0, counter plus await env put counter catch, or catch. Error log the error. We actually need to do counter equals -1. And then, cool. So if there's a failure, we can log the error, but I don't know where the error is going to get logged. Maybe there is logging within the function. That's the hope. So then we can return our hello world, but let's add okay, so we don't need that. So set a counter to -1, get the environment. The counter equals a get KV name, your KV namespace. My KV namespace is not the name of my KV namespace. My KV namespace is named KV Sandbox. KV Sandbox. Save that. So what have we changed? We just changed that. Yes, let's include it. And git push. Okay. So we have updated our hello world function to keep track of a count that is installed in our key value store of Sandbox, which this should actually be what is the result in the hello world box here once this is deployed. So I would hope we don't see hello world -1, because that means that we've done something wrong, which is entirely possible. "24 minutes ago, did I push? Everything's up to date." Oh, because I'm an idiot. Added it, but I didn't commit it. Git commit. Okay. All right, that is being pushed up. Now, there we go. Oh. Okay. Success deployed. Okay, so if we refresh this page, come on, not -1. Come on, not -1. Hey, visitor 1. Visitor -1. Bah. -1. -1. Why did we get a 1 and then a -1? I'm guessing that when we put it, it actually is stored as a string and we need to convert it to an int. But let's have a look and see. And I think we can do that. So this is our function. Do we have logs? I hope we have logs. It would be very difficult to troubleshoot without logs. Function metrics, are there any? Let's go back to they're called workers, not functions. Worker. Looking for examples, tutorials, configuration. Worker logs. Logging into the dashboard. I'm gonna have to install Wrangler for sure. Here we go. Logs, metrics, logs. In account, go to workers and pages, overview, select worker, and select logs. Workers and pages, we're in the overview. Select the worker. Or that's a deployment. Overview. This one. Workers and pages. Workers and pages. Oh wait, no, this is a function, but the function is inside the deployment. It is a function, so how? Functions. That's the settings for the functions. Key value binding. Okay. Build settings. That's for the build itself. Those are the assets of the actual function. Ah, there we are. Okay. Oh, it's listening for the events. Okay, so now if we hit this, we should see our probably something like a type mismatch or wrong one. Here we go. Type error, unknown response type. Oh, okay. So it's text stream or buffer. So this isn't the default. This is text. I was using the other type of get where it's a default. I was just confused on the syntax there of what the sandbox actually returns. All right, so it returns that we automatically got the 0, so this if counter is null, counter is 0. Okay. Yes. That puts the parse int of that. Okay, and if it's null or is nan, then counter equals 0. Yes, there we go. All right, git add. Yes, git commit fixed. Hopefully, can't guarantee, but hopefully we fixed the key value get type and get push. Okay, back to reality, back to life. No. In progress. Here we go. Bollocks. Oh, look at there. 2. Refresh. 3. Ha ha. Woo! We did a thing. It's so simple, but it's nice that it actually worked. So, how about that? We've got our function from our Cloudflare page actually saving data offline in our key value store. Pause the log stream, don't need that. And close that. Get back home. So we can now actually store data. I need to install Wrangler and begin trying to actually interact with the data offline so that I could actually store things that I want without having to do it via the application. I could potentially add an endpoint with some credentials and interact with it via like Postman or something if I wanted to. That's another option. But it seems that Wrangler is the tool that is suggested by Cloudflare. So you can also tail your logs from there. I think that's probably what we do on the next stream is figure out what we do with how we make Wrangler work. Let's see. So we did that. Talked a little bit about that. Talked a little bit about what's happened since the last stream. We created a function. We did the key value. Let's go ahead and start a post just for those that haven't seen before. We're going to create a new 2024 01 08 Cloudflare Pages with functions and key value store. The layout is a post. Title, don't need the date, and we'll add the picture later, but here we can add in a description. Description. Fingers. Do the finger thing. Okay. Let's just grab that. And so we did this. All right. That's good for now. Okay, cool. So we have our website now with dynamic content stored in key value. I need to actually delete this key value namespace because I exposed that number. That, where was that? That was under, so I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay, right. So under there, then key value. We want to delete that. Sandbox, because it appears that that number is the only identifier you need to Tuoe? Sorry, I don't know how to say that. What sort of issues you're having with your 3 basic endpoints? If you're still here. If not, anyway. Yeah, so we'll look at Wrangler next time, hopefully tomorrow. See what we can do to actually interact with, where's the, not logs, we already did that. Wrangler. Yeah, so to interact with our worker and key value store. So that's probably tomorrow. All right, let's get back to full screen. All right, so I hope you folks found that interesting, and anybody who watches the replay later. I'm quite happy with what Cloudflare is offering for free at least for the free tier, obviously. I think it's pretty generous, and for a small website that has just a little bit of dynamic content, I think it's extremely useful. It's a lot easier to set up than, say, a Lambda with Dynamo, in my opinion, because the navigation of AWS console is more complicated because it has so much more involved with it. But I already liked Cloudflare for DNS and DDoS protection and caching. So I'm a big fan of Cloudflare. Now, I'm sure that means that in the next week there's going to be some giant controversy or something. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, any questions, please feel free to reach out either on Kick, YouTube, or join the Discord. It's growing. It's still small, but I absolutely will be happy to interact with you directly, either through chat or if you would like to actually come on and talk to me to ask questions or argue with me. I'd be happy to have you. Thanks. See ya. Bye.